Hi, everyone. This is Scott Azis. I'm the CTO of Agile AI Labs. In this video, I'm going to accomplish two things related to our platform. The first thing I'll do is take you through an introduction with some business context using an ROI model that we have developed. The second thing I'm going to do is take you through a detailed demo of the platform. Let's get started. Spec2TestAI Abriz is an AI-driven agile project management platform revolutionizing software development through the power of reducing defects. Defects in software development, especially in agile environments, can be extremely costly, particularly when identified late in the development cycle. These costs escalate as defects are found later in the development stages. It is absolutely critical to not only find defects early, but also prevent them from occurring in the first place. The challenge is, how can we effectively do that in our agile projects? Project members are burdened with so many different tasks during an agile development lifecycle. There's very little time to put in place tasks like requirement reviews, which can help teams prevent defects by identifying issues such as ambiguities in requirements and in user stories. What agile teams need is a defect prevention co-pilot. They need an automated way to identify issues and remove them prior to starting the coding phase. Once you hand over requirements to your development team that have been untested and contain defects such as ambiguities, it is too late. I recently wrote an article on the opportunity for cost savings with the Spec2TestAI platform. You can read that article in detail out on our website or on our LinkedIn page. But let me share some of the highlights here with you. Finding and fixing bugs in software, as highlighted by many experts in the field, is the single largest expense in software development. The average cost of a software defect ranges from $10,000 to $15,000, and significantly more than that for late stage or production defects. The cost of poor quality in the US, as measured on an annual basis, is $2.4 trillion. That is a lot of defects. As an industry, we are wasting money unnecessarily because many of these defects are preventable once you adopt the right methods of inspection and the right tools to help you prevent them from occurring in the first place. The Spec2TestAI platform is a defect prevention platform. It uses advanced AI to help teams eliminate defects in their requirements before they become costly defects. The ROI analysis I am presenting here is based on an average size Agile team with a conservative defect prevention rate of 33%. By all means, this is a conservative figure, and we would expect you to have higher prevention rates with our platform, particularly in larger teams with more extensive code bases. The annual defect cost on a mid-size project can come in around $3 million using calculations that include 200 defects incurred over the course of a year for a team of 20 building an enterprise product, which is what you see here on the screen. These calculations use a combination of late-stage and early-stage defects. The savings opportunity, which is the return on investment at a 33% reduction in defects, is more than $1 million with our platform. Now, many organizations don't even track the costs associated with defect rework. Implementing Spec2TestAI will help reveal these hidden costs and importantly help you remove them. This leads to an increase in your team's velocity as they can now focus on delivering features instead of fighting bugs. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some of the features in the Spec2TestAI Abriz Enterprise version. One of the core functionalities of our platform is the ability for it to identify defects in requirements and help you remove those. And there's a number of different ways that we do that. And as we walk through the demo in a few minutes, you'll get a better feel for what that looks like. Suffice it to say that we measure many different attributes. In fact, as you can see here, 32 different attributes are measured across 5 different unique frameworks that we use as part of our measurement process. One of the great features of our platform is the cross-analysis feature. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we walk through the demo. But the cross-analysis functionality allows you to expand the view or the measure of the assessment of your requirements from a single requirement to multiple requirements. And the way that our platform organizes those requirements are under what are called projects, as well as underneath that, what are called requirements or requirements folders. So our AI actually scans across these related requirements for you. And that does a number of things to really help you understand how to build a better requirement. But we also bring in automatically recommendations from those other requirements that were provided by the AI directly for you. So in essence, we actually help you write a better requirement using the user stories that are related to the current one that you're working on. It's a pretty revolutionary mechanism and something that you'll see again in a few minutes. There's a number of other assets that we produce, things like security requirements and security based test cases. Speaking of test cases, we actually generate, from a platform perspective, a number of different types of tests, including functional tests, as well as security and edge and negative test cases. There's a lot more to the platform, so let's get ready to jump into the demo. We'll switch screens here. This is our main project screen. And before I talk a little bit more about this, what I'd like to do is at least show you very quickly how to set up a project. It's very simple. You just simply go ahead and click on the Add Project button here. There's a number of fields that are required fields, things like the project name, the project purpose, the project goal. All of this information actually helps set the context for the AI, as the intelligence in the AI will use the information that you provide here to help you build better stories, as well as to help the measures that we provide. In addition to that, you can see there's a few other fields: platform name, application name, and ancillary application names. These are very important fields that need to be defined, but they are used during the AI processing mechanics to help do things like co-locate similar platforms or similar applications and instruct the AI to actually look across those similar platforms and similar applications. So there's a lot of intelligence built into the AI itself based on how you actually define your project. So this is really quite an important step. It only takes you a few minutes, and once you do it once, it doesn't need to be done ever again. Of course, unless you set up a new project. All right. So again, this is our main project page. Over on the left-hand side, you can see we list underneath the projects all of the different projects. This panel is currently showing us sort of in a card layout. You can also see here we can have a list layout, which gives us a list view of all of our projects. I prefer the card view, so we'll switch back there. What I'd like to do now that I've showed you actually how to add a project, why don't we go ahead and jump into a project. The way that you do that is you just simply click on any one of the projects to open up the next level. And the next level is the requirements level. As I mentioned earlier, in this screen, we can actually define a number of requirements. In fact, an unlimited number of requirements can be defined here. You can have an unlimited number for all of each and every one of your projects. You can see here we have two requirements, which again, I refer to these as requirements folders, but there are basically ways to help you organize all of your user stories. Of course, we're not at the user story level yet. Right now, we are still at the requirement level. One thing I would like to show you is this upload button. this upload button actually allows you to upload a file. You can see here that we have a file named Payment Gateway number 32. And the significance of this file is that this is a one-click training mechanism. So what does that mean? When you upload a file, it could be any type of contextual file, historical file, BRD, business requirements document, SRS, literally any historical document that you would like. What it does is it allows you to train the AI according to the contents that exist in that document. So what does that mean? Let's say you have a historical document that outlines a project that was built a few years ago, and you're going through today, you're going through a new effort to actually restore or rebuild that project. Um, it would be really useful for you to actually upload all of the historical information related to that project and present that to the AI so that the AI understands contextually and in detail what was built, how it was built, all of the workflows that were involved in that application. And as you do that, what will happen is the AI now becomes smarter. It actually understands the enterprise context and all of the enterprise workflows that you have built. So this is a really unique feature. Basically, we call it our one-click training. With one simple click, you can upload a document. This document can be literally hundreds of pages long, and automatically train the AI and help it understand the context of the project that you're about to work on. So we've got two requirements here. Let's go ahead and click on one. Right. So what this does, this provides us a view into the last hierarchy or the last level of organization, which are the user stories. All of the user stories here are presented in this screen. And again, similar to requirements, you can have an unlimited number of user stories under any requirement. We're going to go ahead and open up one of these requirements. So one of the first things you'll notice as this opens is that there are 3 steps at the top here. The first step is the requirements information screen, which is the screen that we're on right now. The second step in our platform is the analysis step, and we'll walk through that. There's a lot of detail to cover there. And then the third step is the test case step, which is really the elaboration of all of the test-related or QA-related assets. And so we'll show you that in 1 minute. Okay, so as we've opened up this requirement, it's named Implement Secure and Versatile Payment Gateway. You'll see a number of different things here. The user story name, the user story itself, and the acceptance criteria. In this case, the acceptance criteria is actually quite detailed. And we do encourage you to put as much information in the acceptance criteria as possible because those actually end up informing all of the validations for the automated test cases that get generated. So, and we'll talk about that when we get to step 3. So let's jump to step 2. Before we do that, just want to highlight the fact that there is a button here. Take a look at that a little bit closer. The button's called Save and Analyze. And what that does is it takes all of your story information in your acceptance criteria. And actually, once you click it, it saves it, but also starts the analysis process. So I'm not going to actually make you wait and watch the analysis process happen during this video because I've already gone ahead and run that. So we'll go ahead and click on step 2. But suffice it to say that it is just literally a single click to get from step 1, which is your requirement information, over to step 2. So within step 2, there's a number of really unique and interesting things here that you certainly will not find anywhere else in the market. One of the first things that we do is we measure, according to a number of different industry frameworks, how good or how bad your requirement is or your user story is. Um, and we do that obviously on a percentage scale from 0 through 100. There are 5 different frameworks. You see 4 of them here at the top with some numbers. These numbers are actually pretty good. There's probably not too much here because of the level of detail that we put in the requirement. Probably not too much here that we need to improve, but certainly there's always something that can be improved, especially the first time around. The way that these measures work is that each of these banners represent a framework in and of itself. This one is the INVEST criteria framework. You're probably familiar with this. This particular framework is actually very popular in the industry. We'll go ahead and click on this. And what we'll see here is the elaboration of all of the sub components that make up the INVEST criteria. And I'm not going to read through each of these, but suffice it to say that we measure each one of the attributes and we provide AI-based advice, directed advice, contextual advice for you, for the user, to actually help them understand how to improve the requirement. And oftentimes you're going to get very direct advice from the AI. It will tell you exactly what you need to do or what you need to change in order to improve the requirement and therefore potentially remove some defects or some problems. And that's really the goal here. The goal is that you want to use these various different panels to take a look at your ratings, how well your requirement stacks up to industry standard requirements, and then use that advice to go ahead and improve your requirement. Again, this is all prior to giving this requirement or handing this user story over to the development team. You want to make sure it is defect-free. So there is one more framework. We have a 5th framework, and I'm going to go ahead and show you that very quickly under the Enhanced Requirements tab. It's called the Ambiguity Requirements Framework. It's a 7-point framework. And what we do is we measure the score before and after, as you can see here. And basically what we have the AI do is go ahead and improve all of the and or identify all of the ambiguities and then go ahead and remove them, i.e. improve the entirety of the ambiguities. So what that means is the AI is instructed to go ahead and remove any ambiguities that it identifies in your requirements or in your user stories. So one of the great things about our platform is that we are very transparent with what we do. Everything and anything that we provide to you, we do it very transparently. So you can see here under unquantified metrics, we actually tell you that the AI replaced the words transaction processing should not exceed 60 seconds with the system, must process payments within a predefined duration of 30 seconds. The metric is now quantifiable. So what it did was it actually removed the very vague transaction processing and replaced it with a very specific numeric value with a description. So, this is an example of removing an ambiguity, taking an ambiguity out, replacing it with what should be descriptively, what should be there, or what should exist there. And then it's up to the user to go in and decide whether or not 60 seconds is appropriate. It might not be appropriate. Of course, the AI can't guess at what is appropriate unless you actually provide this detail in your story or in your acceptance criteria. And in the cases where you don't provide it, the AI is still smart enough to go ahead and tell you, hey, what you've provided here in terms of transaction processing is not helpful to the development team. You actually want a very specific metric in here. You want a very specific measure. So that's when it went ahead and put in 60 seconds, right? So just in terms of the fact that the processing shouldn't exceed 60 seconds. And again, the user can go and change that as they need to. That is one of the 7 examples. we just don't have time in this video to walk through all of them, but I think you get the idea around the ambiguity framework. Um, in addition to that, on this screen, we have the enhanced requirements. We can go ahead and click on the enhancements. On the left-hand side, you'll see all of the original requirements, and on the right-hand side in green, you'll see all of the enhanced requirements that the AI has gone ahead and changed and is presenting to us. The importance of this, again, is that what we're doing is we're providing complete transparency to the user. There's no black box here. We tell you exactly if the AI has changed something. We show you exactly what was changed, and we present that to you. And you can actually see it in this really convenient screen side by side. These were the original requirements that you entered, and these are the enhanced requirements. Okay, so there's a number of other things on this screen. I mentioned the security requirements earlier in the video. We actually do generate behavior-driven development files, both feature files and step definition files. And then the cross-analysis, which is a very detailed look at the specifically the platform level, the application level, the requirements level, associated stories within your platform. So those would be the stories in this hierarchy here that have, for example, similar platform names or similar application names. And you saw that when we at the beginning of the video where we set up the project. You actually saw how easy it is to actually add those application names and those platform names, so the AI understands what to do, where to go, and look, and how to basically how to carry out the analysis, because you've defined the project in a way that it understands how everything is linked. The cross analysis, again, is a very unique feature. You'll find nothing like this in the marketplace today. Basically, what we're doing here is we are pulling out at the various different levels. Like, for example, this is the requirements level. We are pulling out specific advice where you may have conflicts, or you may have things of note that you need to pay attention to. In other words, conflicting stories, conflicting user stories, or conflicting acceptance criteria across your, across your requirements categories. So you could have dozens of user stories, for example, in a given sprint that you've entered in here, and it will automatically tell you whether or not there are conflicting acceptance criteria or acceptance criteria that doesn't make sense. All right, and the cross-analysis measures here is the last tab on the screen. This actually summarizes all of the very critical cross-analysis detailed information and provides scores, as you can see, an overall health score, as well as additional sub-level scores that actually get rolled up as part of the analytical dashboard that that we'll show you a little bit later on. So that rounds out step 2. Now, in order to move from step 2 to step 3, again, it's a very simple one-click button. We'll go ahead and move this window out of the way. As you can see down the bottom right here, generate test cases. So what this does is it actually goes ahead and starts the test generation process with one click. And again, from a user perspective, that's all there really is to do. There's nothing else to do once you have all of this information to automatically go ahead and start generating your test assets, or the assets that you would use to pass on to your quality assurance organization, to your testing team. I've already run that, so we're going to go ahead and click on step 3 here, and we'll let that load. All right. So here we are. This screen, which is the final step screen, presents us with a number of different things. Test cases, security test cases, and edge and negative test cases are actually the first 3 tabs. The functional test cases are very thorough. They are based on mathematical models, which I'll show you in 1 minute. Every single test case is prioritized with either P1, P2, or P3. And each of the test cases has a description, preconditions, any test data that makes sense, an elaboration of the test steps, as well as the expected results. Again, which you would expect in any good test case. Each of the test cases that we generate, as you can see, follow the exact same format. So there's consistency in terms of everything and anything that we generate. You have a very consistent production here of the format, in terms of the coverage of your test cases. I mentioned earlier we do generate security test cases. These are based on the OWASP model. We follow the OWASP top 10. We also provide direct advice for OWASP ZAP, the Z attack proxy. This is a free tool for those organizations that are actually doing security testing, application security testing. This is really useful advice. We give you very contextual advice based on the context of your story and the workflow of your story. So all of this gets automatically generated. Again, this is really quite useful for organizations that are either thinking about doing application testing, security testing, or are already doing it. We also generate edge and negative tests, as I mentioned. These are actually very thorough. They follow the very same format as you saw earlier. Our platform follows mathematical models. So what that means is we actually generate all of the test cases using AI based on mathematical models. We use cause and effect tables as well as decision tables. And again, in the spirit of transparency, we provide all of that information for you directly. So you can see that here in the mathematical models tab, where we're actually elaborating on the various different permutations that can be tested. And we provide you with all of that data. Just as a test engineer, this is really interesting data for you to actually be able to look at and understand how the test cases were built. But again, there's no other platform right now that we know of in the industry that are automatically generating these mathematical models and using AI to generate extremely accurate test cases. And this provides a very big leg up, a very big advantage to your testing organization, because you certainly don't want to allow or rely on AI alone for generation of test cases. Given the state of AI today, there could be hallucinations. There could be a lot of important tests that get missed. We ensure that you don't miss them because we actually feed the mathematical models into our AI engine. And what you get is a set of, as a result, on our platform, you get a very accurate and rigorous set of test cases. We also directly measure test coverage, as you can see here. 100% coverage has been achieved. We give you a fair amount of commentary aligned to each test case around that. All right, and we also measure traceability. And the importance of measuring traceability and actually providing that to the user can't be understated. In fact, in organizations where you're using project management tools like Jira, all of this information can be copied very simply back up to Jira or back into the project management tool. And the reason why you would want to do that is because this is evidence that, as a test engineer, I have actually covered every single requirement with a test case. And so all of the details are provided here automatically for the users, for the test engineers as well. Everything gets documented here. It basically is evidence that each and every requirement has been covered with a test case. So this is really important. And then lastly, we have the Selenium code tab. We automatically generate Selenium code based on all of the functional test cases that you saw earlier here in this tab. And all of that code, the Selenium code, gets automatically generated again for the test engineers. They can just come over here and simply copy that to the clipboard, or they can choose to actually export all of this information, all of this code directly if they choose to do so. I'll go ahead and click on this export button. And as you can see, they can go ahead and have the option to export any of the assets that we generate. And this just went ahead and exported the test cases, the Selenium code test cases directly. So that's how that piece works. And yeah, and so in addition to this, there's one other thing that I wanted to show, which is the dashboard. So let's go ahead and click on that. Now, the dashboard itself is comprised of a number of different attributes. We provide an overall health number, an overall health score, which is made up of the requirements, the health of your requirements, as well as the health of your test cases. We use, in order to measure the health of your requirements, we use all of the analytical values or measures or scores that you saw in step 2, and we roll those up and we keep track of those for you historically. So for example, here you can see all of the monthly trends for the ambiguity scores, the completeness, the invest scores, the smart scores, etc. All of these are actually tracked for you on a monthly basis and rolled up. We've got some other metrics here, other interesting, useful metrics that help you understand the health of your projects. But really, the most important part of the dashboard is what it does is it gives you a view that you certainly don't have today. There are no other analytical tools on the market that can help you assess or understand the health of your user stories and your acceptance criteria. And so why is that important? Well, let's say you're working on a very large enterprise project, that has dozens, if not hundreds of user stories. How do you know as a leader or as somebody that has responsibility and oversight for that project? How do you know how well that project is going? You have anecdotal information. You've got certainly information that the team provides you, but this is very specific analytical analysis that is based on data, right? I mean, this dashboard is providing insightful measures that you just can't get with a tool like Jira, or really for that matter, any other tool. So the numbers here, the information, the data that we share here and present here is really, really very useful. You'll see here, as an example, our requirement health is pretty low right now. I mean, I'd like to see this in the 70 to 80% range at minimum. This one's pretty low. And what this means is we've got a number of requirements here that do not measure up to the 5 frameworks that we use to actually assess the health or the score of each of the user stories. And so this could be a concern, and this is something as a project manager, a project leader, or in the program management office, I would want to know about. I'd certainly want to know about the fact that our requirements are not up to par versus industry standard. And I would certainly want to know why, but more importantly, I'd want to know how we're going to fix that. And of course, the way that you do fix that is you take all of the advice that our platform is providing you in step 2 and making those changes, making those adjustments, and then going ahead and running them through our platform again. And that certainly will help you prevent many, many defects. And all of this is really going to help you realize the ROI that we talked about at the beginning of this video, which is absolutely critical. So hopefully this has given you a very good detailed walkthrough of our platform. Let me do one thing here. Let us see. So we'll jump back here. And just in closing, what I'd like to do is encourage you to reach out to us. You can reach us here at Agile AI Lab. Certainly visit our website. There's an offer for a free trial out there. So I definitely encourage you to go ahead and take advantage of that free trial. And it's very easy to set up. It's a very simple screen to go through. Just go ahead and click on the button. But if you do have any questions, I encourage you to reach out to us on our webpage. There's a phone number. There's other information in terms of how to reach us. And so we'd love to, if you'd like to dive deeper, or if you've got some questions, we'd be happy to set up a one-on-one demo with you, and go ahead and answer those questions and show you a little bit more of the platform, tailored to really what your interests are. And lastly, I would just like to say, please go ahead and click the like button, or please go ahead and follow us here on YouTube, as well as follow us on LinkedIn, our company page on LinkedIn. All right. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today. I hope this video was enlightening for you, and we are looking forward to speaking with you. So please reach out. Thank you very much.